The boss I had, his name's Mike Joel, and also Jim Shirley. Both of them, I'm still good friends with today. But really, Mike, I mean, he put a lot of coaching into me. And I have talked about Mike in the show because he was one of my first real mentors in my life in my mid 20s. And, rough times of my marriage. And he's somebody that taught me how to take emotion out of work, emotion out of decisions, because he's like, "Hey, Dave, I could tell when you're fighting with your wife." And I'm like, "Really? Why?" He's like, "Well, you and your whole sales team don't sell nothing. You don't sell a
Mm,
dang thing, So think about this, because obviously the job was purely commission back then for me and the
sure.
sales team. He's like, "Okay, you're having trouble at home. You bring that trouble with work, then you go out all day, you don't sell anything. Okay, guess what happens when you get back home?
Totally.
Now you got problems that you left with the morning, plus you got more problems because you ain't got no money."
Bingo.
So, and it took him a while coaching me through it, but he is really, I think that one thing is what was keeping me from sales greatness. One of the biggest things was that emotional part. And once I learned that and mastered that, it really put me into the next level to where, once the economy worked out, instead of selling, newspapers, I was able to get up to $1 million plus deals after that. It was like it wasn't the only main ingredient I was missing. Okay. There was more things. Nobody's perfect, but that was the biggest thing I think I had to learn. And that's where that job, whether it was knocking on door, selling newspapers, I mean, for 2 years, it served a huge purpose in my life. And it was one of those things that, you just take it. It filled a void and it gave me the skills I needed to get where I wanted to be later in life.
Listen to me. No wonder you and I are from the same cut, and I've loved you so much from the beginning. I had no idea. I had
Yeah.
literally, I'm like, you know what? This makes so much sense. Here's the truth of the matter, though. I love the fact that you highlighted and talked about feelings and emotions.
Hmm.
The essence of just doing it, jumping, building, whatever it is. It's fear is the feeling that stops us, right?
Yeah.
And it's like every day I ask our clients and I ask myself, is fear in the driver's seat or in the passenger seat? Where is fear in
Yeah.
the car? Because like every day we're driving a car, like every day we
Hmm.
get in and we're like, hey, I'm going to do this thing, I'm going to this place or whatever it might be. And sometimes we gather some resources, sometimes we have to push people out, we slow down, we're pushing people out the car. It's another conversation. But the truth, you listen, because they gotta go. They're talking too
Yeah.
much, they're talking the wrong thing, they're yapping it,
Yeah.
whatever it might be. I got somewhere to be. You gotta go.
Yeah.
But this thing, fear, you mess around and let fear sit in the driver's seat of this car, and then it just goes wherever the heck it wants.
Yeah.
But the moments where you're clear that fear is present, I think sometimes people think that fear kind of leaves and goes away. And then they see like these big names and these big people and these big accomplishments, and they think that
Yeah.
those people don't have fear. I'll tell you, having been many times in the room with millionaires and billionaires and all things in between. Now, like everybody still gets afraid. They just don't let it win. They just don't let it drive the car. They just don't let it
Hmm.
sit in the driver's seat, and that's really actually the biggest part of it. Man, I love the fact that now I know that you're a fellow door knocker. I feel like we have a deeper.
Hashtag door knockers unite.
Listen to me. Listen to me. That's exactly how I made my first six figures. I'm proud of it. And then I got
Same
to
here.
listen. It's the truth of the matter. I'm so proud of it. And I don't know that I'd be the kind of CEO or leader today if I didn't have that under my belt. And
It's
really, I
hard.
think
It's nitty gritty stuff that really builds character, builds career, especially if you're going into a sales slash business professional world. I mean, there's not many successful sales reps that I know, that hasn't had some sort of cold calling, cold knocking experience while they're just getting their feet wet in sales. I mean, it seems like it's one of those key ingredients of some of the most successful people out there in industry.
And yeah, and it's like allowing yourself to just be rejected. For anyone who's listening, listen,
Yep.
you take a moment to plug yourself into any environment. Like if you want to grow, you're trying to get to that next level where you're trying to accomplish X, Y, and Z. It's not necessarily just about building a thicker skin. It's really about
Hmm.
understanding the fact that that rejection has nothing to do with you as a human. It has everything to do with that person and where they are at this moment.